gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tommy Choo.
Hey guys, I'm Tommy Choo. Thanks Ken, thanks Good Beans, thanks Creative Alliance for always hosting this. Yeah, this is like one of the first things that I came to community creative and like artistic wise since I've been in Flint. I've been here for 2.5 years now, so thank you to all you guys.
Where are you from, bro?
I'm originally, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and then I went to MSU, and when I graduated,
Let's get a
moved
pizza
here.
and a hot dog. What's up?
He's from Chicago.
Good
old Alright.
Chicago.
Yeah,
And,
Kevin's from Chicago.
To start the Creative Alliance Collab Night here at Good Beans, our first performance will be Kevin Kelly.
Alright.
Done it. So this one is a.
Kevin, I'm not getting the guitar pick.
Oh. This one's called Wait. I feel as though you ought to know that I've been good, as good as I can be. And if you do, I'm trusting you, that you will know you will wait for me. It's been a long time, now I'm coming back home. I've been away now, oh how I've been alone. Woo! Hey, what's up? Click on that one, there it is. Yeah, there was another one. Oh yeah. This one here is it's Black Magic Woman. And anybody remember who wrote it?
Let's see. I know Santana before, I think it was.
Yeah, somebody before
Fleetwood
Santana.
Mac, I think.
That's it. This guy's got this knows knowledge out. Their first album. They kind of start off with something like Santana, I mean, you know. black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. Turning my heart into stone. Got a black magic woman. I just can't leave her alone. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Stop messing with your kids. Don't turn your back on me, baby. I just might have to get some magic kids. Hey, I got a song here. Next one, I just started working on it again after a long time. So Grateful Dead song. It's Uncle John's band. Is it Uncle John? Yeah. Or is it somebody else? I can't remember right now. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. I was listening to a live version and a record version, so this is just kind of in between, I guess. Let me try. For the first time on the hardest day, don't you worry anymore. side. Got some things to talk about. There beside the rising tide. Come here, up and down bed, playing to the tide. Come along, or go along. He come to take his children home. Thank you.
All right, Kevin.
Thank you, brother. That was a little rusty.
That's fine. We enjoyed it.
That's good.
Great.
Performance. And then I want to mention a notable performance that I was a part of that Kevin actually performed. I think it was here in like the winter of 2015.
Oh, the snowstorm.
It must have been December 2015, but he did.
It was a
Feliz Navidad, and this
snowstorm.
room
Yes.
absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
It was great. And that winter vibe is approaching, you know. November's upon us. Thanksgiving's coming up. I hope you guys
Yeah,
got a
that
turkey.
video's still out there too somewhere. Someone had to go on Flint
Yeah.
Underground, look for that video. That
go,
is the
go on
most
Flint Underground and
Christmassy.
dig up that Kevin
That
Kelly
is
classic
the-
Feliz Navidad
That's
performance.
the
You'll
best
see me
one.
just going crazy somewhere in the audience. I apologize for wearing floral pants. I just like felt like a good idea. I was really happy.
I think they're cute.
And the orange shirt, it's ridiculous. Next
like
up
fall.
is Gary Flynn.
Andy? Thank you, thank you. Gotta get the mic closer to me. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, lots been going on. Of course, my book, Hidden History of Flint, which is doing very well locally, I'm happy to say. In fact, I was at Totem Books. They have 3 copies of this book and 1 copy of my first book, Remembering Flint, Michigan. And of course, I got copies in my trunk. Monday, I did the first of my 3 slideshow presentations. That was in Montrose at the Telephone Museum. It was well attended, and I'll be doing 2 more slideshows. Next one will be tomorrow at the old Durant-Door office building, not far from here in Careytown. It'll be at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll do my same slideshow presentation, which I'll also be doing in Flushing, the old train station, on Monday. The time will be at 7 o'clock, and I think, Jenny, do you think you'll be
Yep,
shooting?
I've got it
video?
on my calendar.
Okay, Jenny has never been to the Flushing train station,
Nope.
so that'll be
I have to go early and look
experience.
around.
Oh,
Would
yes.
you be able to? If you got there early, could you look around or would that part be closed?
I can do. Well, you can talk to them, but I'll try and be there nice and early. In fact, today I was at the Historical Society to make sure the laptop and the large screen TV and the software works fine, and it does. So should be a nice presentation. And the presentation I'll be doing is a chapter about now. Most of you may not remember Smith Bridgman's, but it was a fixture of downtown Flint for over 100 years. I brought some visuals. In fact, I'll flash it, and I already gave Jenny the visuals. So when I flash it, and I'll just give it to just pass it around, so you can see what Smith Bridgman looked like over the years. So here's a piece which is called Smith Bridgman's Flint's largest department store. The year is 1862. Flint's population was 3,000. The March 29, 1862 issue of the Wolverine Citizen featured a grand opening ad for a new dry goods store operated by William L. Smith and Company. Flint at that time was a lumbering town and a center for farmers. The store was located in the right half of the Brockway Block building, sharing that building with People's Bank. And I'll just show, so this was an ad from 1926 to note the 60th anniversary of Smith Bridgman's. Along for others to look at. So if you don't mind, I'll just drop this, and whoever can pick it up can pass it around. It was originally a partnership between Smith from Middlebury, Connecticut, and F.W. Judd from Cleveland, Ohio. Judd operated his own dry goods store in the Fenton building at the corner of Saginaw and Kearsley Streets. Along with cash sales, the store also bartered with farmers in exchange for their goods. It also offered goods to peddlers who traveled by wagon and resold the goods in rural areas. Judd sold his interest in the business and established his own shop in 1866. Charles T. Bridgman was an employee of the firm who, as a boy, started by wrapping packages in the grocery department. He invested money and became a partner in 1871. The business was renamed Smith, Bridgman and Company. In 1897, William Smith's son Walter O. Smith joined the partnership along with his uncle Eli. Within a few years, it had outgrown its original 625 feet of floor space and took over the bank's half of the building. In 1908, it took over another building south of the original store, which became an annex. In 1913, the original building was renovated with a terracotta front facade. In 1918, Smith Bridgman's was acquired by O.M. Smith and Company. In 1923, it expanded into a 7-story building with an addition built on the north side in 1936 and another addition on the south side in 1957, which also replaced the ornate front facade with a windowless modern facade. Yeah, at that point, I'll show you how the Smith Bridgman grew. For example, this was the original store. If you look on the right-hand side, that was the Smith Bridgman's annex. So the big building was where the original store stood. So I'll just drop that and show how it looked in 1955 with the addition on the left-hand side. Now on the right-hand side, which looks like a Kresge store annex, that would not be around because it would be torn down. So I'll drop this again and show how it looked after the addition was completed and they put in a new facade. So and again, Jenny will insert a corresponding more detailed image for the video. So got that. And now back to the text. In the 1930s, the Mount Foundation began acquiring stock in the business, which led to full ownership of the store. The Mount Foundation also acquired department stores in other Michigan cities. It also owned the J.W. Knapp Company in Lansing, D.M. Christian Department Store in Owasso, and L.W. Robinson Company in Battle Creek. Smith Bridgman's also had 2 annex stores downtown. One on the other side of Brush Alley, facing Harrison Street. And this is that Harrison Street annex. So,
Whereabouts is that located?
it was located. It's now where the flat lot it is along Harrison Street, and this was the First Street store.
Yeah.
So Jenny will insert a more detailed one. Genesee Towers was there. Now it's a public plaza. So now pass that along, and back to the text. In 1967, Smith Bridgman expanded to the suburbs with the opening of a store in the Bella Vista Mall, now the Grand Mall in Grand Blanc. In 1970, the Mount Foundation sold its department stores to Ellis Gooden Company of Wheeling, West Virginia. But the 1970s was not a good decade for downtown retailers with the rise of the suburbs and the suburban shopping centers. In 1979, Smith B's, as the store had come to be known by that time, was considering opening a new store in a proposed shopping center on Linden Road, but chose instead to open a store in Davison at 837 South State Road in the Davison Shopping Center. But the parent company Smith's management also had a role in the decline of Smith Bridgman's. It tried new concepts in 1979 with Smith B's VFQ, VFQ standing for Value, Fashion, and Quality. It also established a closeout department at its downtown location called Finale, a new exciting shop of extraordinary values. It featured clearance bargains collected from their top fashion departments and home furnishings from all of its co-owned Michigan stores, all marked at 50% or more. It also featured special purchases. Ellis Good & Company filed for bankruptcy in May 1979. In November 1979, Smith Bridgman announced it would renovate its downtown store and held a liquidation sale. The sale disappointed shoppers as some found merchandise that Smith Bees did not normally carry. Some of the downtown merchandise was moved to the new Davison store. Plans were to convert the large building into a vertical shopping mall, with Smith Bees operating 3/5 of the space. Hopes were that University of Michigan Flint would occupy some of the space. That did not materialize, and the Smith Bees downtown store was reduced to a scaled-down operation of its finale clearance center and liquidation outlet for all of LS Good's Michigan stores, with the rest of the building space empty. The downtown store closed permanently on June 4th, 1980. When that store closed, it marked the end of the oldest department store in Michigan and one of 4 west of New York State that had operated at the same site for more than 100 years. The merchandise of the downtown store was shipped away for sale at other LS Goods other stores. By that time, the 14-store operation had lost $6 million in recent years. A clerk at the closing downtown store blamed shoppers who shopped in suburban shopping areas instead of downtown in recent years. Indeed, Sears and Woolworth left downtown for the new Jones Valley Center in 1970. JCPenney moved to the malls in 1980. The Vogue and Montgomery Ward also closed their downtown stores around that time. On October 17, 1980, the remaining stores in Grand Blanc and Davison were ordered closed by a bankruptcy judge at Ellis Goods base of operations in Wheeling, West Virginia, thus closing the final chapter in the century-plus history of Smith Bridgman's. The remaining Ellis Good-owned stores in Michigan, Knapp's and Lansing, Christensen Rosso, and Robson's Valley Creek were also closed that same month. The inventory of the 2 remaining Smith B stores was sold to a unit of Value City department stores based in Columbus, Ohio. Valued at $486,000, the merchandise was sold for $171,257. The buyer also bought the inventory of Ellis Goods' remaining Michigan stores. The total sale price at the auction was $2.3 million. While Value City did operate a department store in Flint, it did not have a store in Flint at that time. The inventory was sent to Lansing for liquidation at the flagship Knapp store in downtown Lansing, where thousands of shoppers jammed the liquidation sale that began on November 28, 1980. With the downtown store torn down in 1984, along with the rest of the portion of downtown, bounded by Saginaw Street, Riverbank Park, Harrison Street, and East First Street as part of the development of Water Street Pavilion, now the University of Michigan Flint's University Pavilion, and is now the parking lot. Okay. Final visual of the sad one. The Smith Bridgman stores along the rest of the block that became the flat lot torn down. The building I miss most is the one on the far right-hand side, the Milner Arcade, which is a hodgepodge of different architectural styles. And again, Jenny would flash a more detailed presentation on the video. The Art Deco downtown Lansing Knapp store had a better fate and was converted into an office building called Knapp Center, which was later converted into an apartment building with retail and restaurant space. And that's my piece for this month. Hope to see some of you over in the old Durant-Door office building tomorrow or in Flushing the following Monday, and I thank you very much.
That was great, Gary. Thanks. Love local history, Michigan history. Stuff is super important. I didn't know that was connected to the Knapp building. They're doing some, they were repurposing that when I was in Lansing. I forgot what they were doing though. Might be another fashion store going there. I'm not sure. While I'm here, gotta apologize to Ken because I haven't been in Good Beans in a little bit. I got a job. Just sitting around in the cafe waiting to chat it up with people, which this is the best place for it. Do you guys come to Good Beans during the day, like in the afternoon and stuff?
Yeah.
I love that, especially as the weather's getting colder.
He opens like 7 in the morning or something.
Does he open at 7 in the morning?
7:30.
I was wondering about that. I need to come in before work. Okay, 7:30. I also wanted to announce an event that I'm going to be a part of this Friday at the Elated Flute Foundation on the south side of Flint.
Flip it around.
On
too.
742 Newbert.
Yeah.
Flash
very
it
good.
at the screen, any show
Yeah.
detailed image. Would. It's a lot of things. It's a solo art exhibit for Polly Everett, and it's a fundraiser for music and arts programs that are going to be happening at the Elated Flute Foundation, and there's going to be live music from Big Donut, the Isaac Ryder Band.
Ooh, Big Donut's going to be there?
Yeah, Olivia Millichin, and then I'm going to be DJing myself.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We did a run
When
through
is that
yesterday,
again?
and I'm really excited. It's at the Elated Flute Foundation in
Wh-
South Flint.
When?
Friday.
Friday.
6 p.m. to midnight.
So it's like November
And
7th.
it is a fundraiser, so that there's a $10 charge at the door that's going to go towards music and arts programming.
Who's the featured artist?
Polly Everett.
As in the same guy who did the.
Yeah, he did that frog right
Yeah.
there with the gnome on top of
Yeah,
him.
that I put.
Yeah,
My
he had
paintings on
actually
top.
an art show here. He's had art displayed here for sure. So that's November 17th on Friday. But back to the performance at hand. And our next performer will be Jeff Carey.
Everybody doing good? Yeah. I figured I'd read something, it's an older poem, but I wrote it when I was out hunting with my father-in-law. So I was sitting in the woods and I wrote this poem. It's called The Woodsman and the Satyr. It's considered an epic poem, so it's kind of long, but it is written in a meter also, which I thought was kind of challenging. But it's also called the allegory of the coat. All right. Upon walking through the woods, I came across a satyr sitting by a running stream. He had a chill about him, and feeling abject pity, offered the creature my coat. The satyr played a syrinx, and hearing his queer offer, stopped mid-note and laughed out loud. Taken some aback by this, I insisted yet again, using stalwart persuasion. He simply shrugged and stated 'twas not nature's intention, then went about his playing. Confused, I sat beside him and formulated questions to ask this curious faun. His melody flowed freely from the reeds, harmonizing with the rippling ravine. When he had finished, I asked, why it is you're so opposed to using my offering. The satyr thought for a moment, then said, if I take this thing, I will soon depend on it. Material possession nullifies adaptation and works to enslave the soul. Quite appalled by his answer, I began to justify this obvious improvement. Coats and clothes, I debated, enabled man to travel to lands he could not before. It's man's ingenuity that allowed him to evolve as the dominant species. You were sold this idea, the satyr said musingly, springing forth from where he sat. Man once had hair to shield him from the bitter elements, but now he is shedding it. In fact, man has several natural abilities which now are certainly lost. Haven't you ever noticed how other animals know when a tempest is coming? Man's sense of security is a farce and misguided, so he ignores his feelings. Instead of taking cover, he feels he is beyond harm. Such is the same with your coat. But man has developed ways, I retorted, to predict when bad weather is coming. He began laughing again, breaking with his hoofed feet the ice that formed in the creek. Won't you catch your death of cold? I begged the woodland cod, fearing his insanity. With a shocking start, he stopped. Most definitely I won't, he remarked disgustedly. Now, with his back turned to me, the cold air seemed to crispen as he looked skyward and spoke. If you could but understand the gravity of the path humanity has chosen. How something so simplistic as you giving me your coat would lead me to my undoing. I urged him to sit again and help me to understand his passionate position. On a stump, he came to rest and a light snow fell calmly, blanketing these mystic woods. I'll continue speaking then, so that you may understand, said the satyr earnestly. As I had mentioned before, if I were to take your coat, I would then depend on it. Every day I wore it would increasingly ensure my subjugation to it. Until one day I awoke totally subservient to this object possession. My skin, no longer able to stave off the elements, would suffer the bite of frost. From here, a slippery slope would spiral me down a path of endless strife and labor. For once the coat were outworn, I'd need to buy another. And so my toiling begins. My existence, no longer for myself, would then be for the profit of another. After submitting my life, I would attempt to convince myself of its benefits, likely becoming enthralled with mass object ownership, as materialists do. I would purchase a large home, a sensible vehicle, and a coat for all seasons, in a vain and stale attempt to create a sense of worth as equally artifice. I would hoard things needlessly, bragging and boasting over how much I had acquired. The satyr then turned about, looking at me sternly with his judicious gray eyes. It would not end with this, though, he said in a calmer tone. This folly is cyclical. Curious of his meaning and not conscious of the time, I bid him please continue. Agreeably, he stated, woeful is the capital built on the backs of mankind. It leads humanity down the dark road of consumption, leaving them in idle hope. Equality then becomes but a mirage in the eyes of the poverty-stricken. Unable to maintain their excessive facade of wealth, they create a world of debt. The rich become penniless, for all they keep is fiat, base, and illusionary. You are unreasonable, I yelled, jumping to my feet. This can't possibly be true. The deity scratched his beard, clicked his hooves on the ambo, then kindly asked me for my coat. The air took a bitter pall, and I, now reluctant, paused, being a long mile from home. Of course, he said with a smile. You should keep it, my new friend, for you need it more than I. With that, he shook the snow off, his breath hanging in the air as he turned to walk away. Wait, how do I escape this? I asked. The satyr replied, only in death are you free, then vanished into the woods. I, left to the elements, began my trek back home.
Hold your book cover. Hold your book cover up and I'll zoom in on it.
Yeah, this is Callous in Spring.
Now, is this the newest one?
No, this is an older book.
Oh, okay.
Collection of poetry. This is a collected works that I
Yeah, because you had novel. I know I read your novel. You have more than one novel?
Yeah, no, just the one novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of that again?
The Reflection of Elias Dumont.
Oh yeah, it was really creepy too. But I liked it. It was very well written.
Thank you.
Very
I
very
previous,
creepily written.
The write-up you did for it was nice too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to see some familiar faces. I remember seeing you, I think recite at the Totem open mic. The open mic at Totem Books, maybe?
Yeah, I've read it.
Okay, yeah.
Where you working?
I used to work up there.
Oh,
Okay. But yeah, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces. I was trying to imagine you writing that while hunting in the woods, and that made it a little more epic. That was cool. And next up we have Lee.
So the big building was where the original store stood. So I'll just drop that and show how it looked in 1955 with the addition on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, which looks like a Kresge store annex. That would not be around because it would be torn down. So I'll drop this again and show how it looked after the addition was completed and they put in a new facade. So and again, Jenny will insert a corresponding more detailed image for the video. So got that. And now back to the text. In the 1930s, the Mount Foundation began acquiring stock in the business, which led to full ownership of the store. The Mount Foundation also acquired department stores in other Michigan cities. It also owned the J.W. Knapp Company in Lansing, D.M. Christian Department Store in Owasso, and L.W. Robinson Company in Battle Creek. Smith Bridgman's also had two annex stores downtown. One on the other side of Brush Alley, facing Harrison Street. And this is that Harrison Street annex. It was located. It's now where the flat lot where it is along Harrison Street, and this was the First Street store.
Yeah.
So Jenny will insert a more detailed one. Genesee Towers was there. Now it's a public plaza. So now pass that along, and back to the text. In 1967, Smith Bridgman expanded to the suburbs with the opening of a store in the Bella Vista Mall, now the Grand Mall in Grand Blanc. In 1970, the Mount Foundation sold its department stores to Ellis Gooden Company of Wheeling, West Virginia. But the 1970s was not a good decade for downtown retailers, with the rise of the suburbs and the suburban shopping centers. In 1979, Smith B's, as the store had come to be known by that time, was considering opening a new store in a proposed shopping center on Linden Road, but chose instead to open a store in Davison at 837 South State Road in the Davison Shopping Center. But the parent company Smith's management also had a role in the decline of Smith Bridgman's. It tried new concepts in 1979 with Smith B's VFQ, VFQ standing for Value, Fashion, and Quality. It also established a closeout department at its downtown location called Finale, a new exciting shop of extraordinary values. It featured clearance bargains collected from their top fashion departments and home furnishings from all of its co-owned Michigan stores, all marked at 50% or more. It also featured special purchases. Ellis Gooden Company filed for bankruptcy in May 1979. In November 1979, Smith Bridgman announced it would renovate its downtown store and held a liquidation sale. The sale disappointed shoppers as some found merchandise that Smith B's did not normally carry. Some of the downtown merchandise was moved to the new Davison store. Plans were to convert the large building into a vertical shopping mall, with Smith B's operating 3/5 of the space. Hopes were that University of Michigan Flint would occupy some of the space. That did not materialize, and the Smith B's downtown store was reduced to a scaled-down operation of its Finale clearance center and liquidation outlet for all of LS Goods Michigan stores, with the rest of the building space empty. The downtown store closed permanently on June 4th, 1980. When that store closed, it marked the end of the oldest department store in Michigan and one of 4 west of New York State that had operated at the same site for more than 100 years. The merchandise of the downtown store was shipped away for sale at other LS Goods other stores. By that time, the 14-store operation had lost $6 million in recent years. A clerk at the closing downtown store blamed shoppers who shopped in suburban shopping areas instead of downtown in recent years. Indeed, Sears and Woolworth left downtown for the new Genesee Valley Center in 1970. JCPenney moved to the malls in 1980. The Vogue and Montgomery Ward also closed their downtown stores around that time. On October 17, 1980, the remaining stores in Grand Blanc and Davison were ordered closed by a bankruptcy judge at Ellis Goods base of operations in Wheeling, West Virginia, thus closing the final chapter in the century-plus history of Smith Bridgman's. The remaining Ellis Goods-owned stores in Michigan, Knapp's in Lansing, Christensen in Owasso, and Robinson's Battle Creek were also closed that same month. The inventory of the 2 remaining Smith B stores was sold to a unit of Value City department stores based in Columbus, Ohio. Valued at $486,000, the merchandise was sold for $171,257. The buyer also bought the inventory of Ellis Goods' remaining Michigan stores. The total sale price at the auction was $2.3 million. While Value City did operate a department store in Flint, it did not have a store in Flint at that time. The inventory was sent to Lansing for liquidation at the flagship Knapp store in downtown Lansing, where thousands of shoppers jammed the liquidation sale that began on November 28, 1980. With the downtown store torn down in 1984, along with the rest of the portion of downtown, bounded by Saginaw Street, Riverbank Park, Harrison Street, and East First Street as part of the development of Water Street Pavilion, now the University of Michigan Flint's University Pavilion, and is now the parking lot. Okay. Final visual, the sad one. The Smith-Bridgman stores along the rest of the block that became the flat lot torn down. The building I miss most is the one on the far right-hand side, the Milner Arcade, which is a hodgepodge of different architectural styles. And again, Jenny would flash a more detailed presentation on the video. The Art Deco downtown Lansing Knapp store had a better fate and was converted into an office building called Knapp Center, which was later converted into an apartment building with retail and restaurant space. And that's my piece for this month. Hope to see some of you over in the old Durant-Door office building tomorrow or in Flushing the following Monday, and I thank you very much.
That was great, Gary. Thanks. Love local history, Michigan history. Stuff is super important. I didn't know that was connected to the Knapp building. They're doing some, remember they were repurposing that when I was in Lansing. I forgot what they were doing though. Might be another fashion store going there, I'm not sure. While I'm here, gotta apologize to Ken, because I haven't been in Good Beans in a little bit. I got a job. Just sitting around in the cafe waiting to chat it up with people, which this is the best place for it. Do you guys come to Good Beans during the day, like in the afternoon and stuff?
Yeah.
I love that, especially as the weather's getting colder.
He opens like 7 in the morning or something.
Is it? Does he open at 7 in the
7,
morning?
7:30.
I was wondering about that. I need to come in before work. Okay, 7:30. I also wanted to announce an event that I'm going to be a part of this Friday at the Elated Flute Foundation on the south side of Flint.
Flip it around.
On
too.
742 Newbert.
Yeah.
Flash
there
it
you
at the screen. Jenny, show
Yeah.
a detailed image. Good.
Credited.
It's a lot of things. It's a solo art exhibit for Polly Everett. And it's a fundraiser for music and arts programs that are going to be happening at the Elated Flute Foundation. And there's going to be live music from Big Donut, Isaac Ryder Band.
Oh, Big Donut's going to be there?
Yeah, Olivia Millichin, and then I'm going to be DJing myself.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We did a run
When
through
is that
yesterday,
again?
and I'm really excited. It's at the Elated Flute Foundation in South Flint.
When?
Friday.
Friday.
6 p.m. to midnight.
So it's like November 7th.
And it is a fundraiser, so that there's a $10 charge at the door that's going to go towards music and arts programming.
Who's the featured artist?
Polly Everett.
As in the same guy who did the...
Yeah, he did that frog right
Yeah.
there with the gnome on top of
Yeah,
him.
that I put.
Yeah,
My
he had
paintings on
actually
top.
an art show here. He's had art displayed here for sure. So that's November 17th on Friday. But back to the performance at hand. And our next performer will be Jeff Carey.
Everybody doing good? Yeah. I figured I'd read something, it's an older poem, but I wrote it when I was out hunting with my father-in-law. So I was sitting in the woods and I wrote this poem. It's called The Woodsman and the Satyr. It's considered an epic poem, so it's kind of long, but and it is written in a meter also, which I thought was kind of challenging. But it's also called the allegory of the coat. All right. Upon walking through the woods, I came across a satyr sitting by a running stream. He had a chill about him, and feeling abject pity, offered the creature my coat. The satyr played a syrinx, and hearing his queer offer, stopped mid-note and laughed out loud. Taken some aback by this, I insisted yet again, using stalwart persuasion. He simply shrugged and stated 'twas not nature's intention, then went about his playing. Confused, I sat beside him and formulated questions to ask this curious fawn. His melody flowed freely from the reeds, harmonizing with the rippling ravine. When he had finished, I asked, why it is you're so opposed to using my offering. The satyr thought for a moment, then said, if I take this thing, I will soon depend on it. Material possession nullifies adaptation and works to enslave the soul. Quite appalled by his answer, I began to justify this obvious improvement. Coats and clothes, I debated, enabled man to travel to lands he could not before. It's man's ingenuity that allowed him to evolve as the dominant species. You were sold this idea, the satyr said musingly, springing forth from where he sat. Man once had hair to shield him from the bitter elements, but now he is shedding it. In fact, man had several natural abilities which now are certainly lost. Haven't you ever noticed how other animals know when a tempest is coming? Man's sense of security is a farce and misguided, so he ignores his feelings. Instead of taking cover, he feels he is beyond harm. Such is the same with your coat. But man has developed ways, I retorted, to predict when bad weather is coming. He began laughing again, breaking with his hoofed feet the ice that formed in the creek. Won't you catch your death of cold? I begged the woodland cod, fearing his insanity. With a shocking start, he stopped. Most definitely I won't, he remarked disgustedly. Now, with his back turned to me, the cold air seemed to crispen as he looked skyward and spoke. If you could but understand the gravity of the path humanity has chosen. How something so simplistic as you giving me your coat would lead me to my undoing. I urged him to sit again and help me to understand his passionate position. On a stump, he came to rest, and a light snow fell calmly, blanketing these mystic woods. I'll continue speaking then, so that you may understand, said the satyr earnestly. As I had mentioned before, if I were to take your coat, I would then depend on it. Every day I wore it would increasingly ensure my subjugation to it. Until one day I awoke totally subservient to this object possession. My skin, no longer able to stave off the elements, would suffer the bite of frost. From here, a slippery slope would spiral me down a path of endless strife and labor. For once the coat were outworn, I'd need to buy another. And so my toiling begins. My existence, no longer for myself, would then be for the profit of another. After submitting my life, I would attempt to convince myself of its benefits, likely becoming enthralled with mass object ownership, as materialists do. I would purchase a large home, a sensible vehicle, and a coat for all seasons, in a vain and stale attempt to create a sense of worth as equally artifice. I would hoard things needlessly, bragging and boasting over how much I had acquired. The satyr then turned about, looking at me sternly with his judicious gray eyes. It would not end with this, though, he said in a calmer tone. This folly is cyclical. Curious of his meaning and not conscious of the time, I bid him please continue. Agreeably, he stated, woeful is the capital built on the backs of mankind. It leads humanity down the dark road of consumption, leaving them in idle hope. Equality then becomes but a mirage in the eyes of the poverty-stricken. Unable to maintain their excessive facade of wealth, they create a world of debt. The rich become penniless, for all they keep is fiat, base, and illusionary. You are unreasonable, I yelled, jumping to my feet. This can't possibly be true. The deity scratched his beard, clicked his hooves on the ambo, then kindly asked me for my coat. The air took a bitter pall, and I, now reluctant, paused. Being a long mile from home, "Of course," he said with a smile. "You should keep it, my new friend, for you need it more than I." With that, he shook the snow off, his breath hanging in the air as he turned to walk away. "Wait, how do I escape this?" I asked. The satyr replied, "Only in death are you free," then vanished into the woods. I, left to the elements, began my trek back home.
Hold your book cover. Hold your book cover up and I'll zoom in on it.
Yeah, this is Callous in Spring.
Now, is this the newest one?
No, this is an older book.
Oh, okay.
Collection of poetry. This is a collected works that I
Yeah, because you had novel. I know I read your novel. You have more than one novel?
Yeah, no, just the one novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name of that again?
The Reflection of Elias Dumont.
Oh, yeah. It was really creepy too. But I liked it. It was very well written.
Thank you.
Very
I
very
previous,
creepily written.
The write-up you did for it was nice too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to see some familiar faces. I remember seeing you, I think recite at the Totem open mic. The open mic at Totem Books, maybe?
Yeah, I've read it.
Okay, yeah.
That's where you work, ain't it?
I used to work up there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
But yeah, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces. I was trying to imagine you writing that while hunting in the woods, and that made it a little more epic. That was cool. And next up we have Lee.
Funnyman. Yeah, we need some jokes in this world. Good thing we got the Funnyman here tonight because things are getting a little too serious, man. Sometimes it feels like the wheels are coming off this place. I'm talking about everything on the news. You can't take a steady diet in this
we
stuff,
are in the middle of a soap opera, whether we want to be or not.
There's some crazy things, man. Almost not safe
We're in a
anywhere.
reality show.
I work security part-time, and there's a big demand for that, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It used to be the safest places were what? Schools and churches, and those are some of the most dangerous places, so.
Yeah. Coffee shops.
Times we live in. Coffee shops, sure. You gotta be looking over your bag every place. But at least we get to come out and do things like this, and don't be so concerned about that tonight. I haven't seen too many suspicious looking people here other than Jenny, and I trust her.
Yeah, I'm good, aren't I?
Am I coming through?
You got them all fooled.
Well, I'm plugged in.
You're good, Lee. I just was waiting to
Okay.
make sure.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Want me to turn mine down, or you can bring yours down?
I can bring mine down a little bit.
Okay.
Yep, should be good.
I wasn't sure I paid my bill there or what to get my electricity that I needed.
Yeah.
I guess I did.
You did.
Anybody that's heard my stuff knows that I'm a throwback to the 50s and 60s, when I did grow up in that period, and the early rock and roll, of course, left its mark on me, just as some of the young people today will be affected by Bruno Mars and whoever else is hot at the moment out there. But I'm going to do an old Elvis number here. I liked Elvis's really early stuff when he was still, had a small waistline and was still hungry. And had that raw edge before life got a hold of him. And he was doing stuff like this. The train I ride is 16 coaches long. The train I ride is 16 coaches long. Oh, that long black train got my baby and it's gone. was playing in more of those kind of honky-tonk places, you know, like you do when you're you want to get your music out there and stuff. And I still play in a couple of them, but they're not the same kind of places I play out at Linden. The Linden Hotel has a open mic night, and I try to catch that one when I can. I guess the main difference is nowadays when you go out to these places, you can actually see the people across the room. There's no smoke in there for one thing. Although some of the VFW halls I go to, they still smoke, and that's kind of like I think they consider that a private club. And I'm a veteran myself, and I feel like those guys have paid their dues if they want to smoke. And actually, most of them at their age, they really shouldn't be smoking. A lot of them are Vietnam veterans, so they're in their 60s, 70, what have you. But I feel like that's their place, and if anybody doesn't like to smoke there, they can just get up and leave, you know. So,
Yeah.
but I like the veteran, that crowd of people, because they're also throwbacks to another era. This song reminds me of talking about these bars and things. Willie Nelson wrote a song called Nightlife, and in its time it was a real successful hit. It was kind of like this. Carey was saying that was a hit by Ray Price, right, Gary?
Sounds like it.
Willie Nelson wrote the song and had success with it, but I think Ray Price had maybe sold even more records. Got one more here, and then we'll bring up the next person. Okay, this song was done by written and recorded by another artist that Gary will know what I'm talking about. A lot of you don't go back far enough unless you listen to oldies music. There was another rockabilly artist that was coming out, it was a few years after Elvis. His name was Jack Scott. And Jack Scott actually lived not too far from here, and I believe he still does. And I got to meet him a few years ago down at the Dream Cruise. And he was playing in, I think, Fernwood, and he's from that general area down there. and he had a really nice, kind of a baritone, almost a bass voice. And I saw him perform a couple of times in recent years. He must have been like 73 when I saw him, and he still sounded the same as the record. I mean, to be able to do that, you know.
He's from Windsor, and plus he qualifies as Canadian content.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, he must have grew up in that Detroit area. Because,
Hazel Park, I believe.
yeah, everybody knows him down there. One of his hits. If you listen to any oldies radio, then you'll hear this from time to time. It's called What in the World's Come Over You? What in the world's come over you? Seems we never get along. Every night I reminisce, dreaming of your tender kisses. What in the world's come over you? Could you ever change your mind? If you do, I'll still be here waiting, longing for you. All my life I've loved you so, never dreamed I miss you so. Now alone in my room each night, my heart cries out, it's just not right. What in the world's come over you? Could you ever change your mind? If you do, I'll still be here waiting, longing for you. All my life I've loved you so, never dreamed I'd miss you so. Now alone in my room each night, my heart cries out, it's just not right. What in the world's come over you? Since we never get along. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, Ken? Thank you. Let's hear it for our host tonight. He's doing a good job, man.
One more time for Lee. I like your style. That's a good one. Yeah. And I love that guitar line, man. That was really capturing my mood. I actually, like I said, I'm a DJ and I spin vinyl. One thing I haven't really dove into is a lot of country and rockabilly stuff, but I want to, so I'll have to pick your brain a little bit, man. Thanks,
Okay.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I guess I should mention that this is going to be posted to the Flint Underground YouTube channel. Thanks, Jenny, for recording these and being a great person in general.
It's on at 6 o'clock every Monday at 6 o'clock. Comcast Channel 17, one of our videos is on.
Wow, Comcast Channel 17.
Yeah.
This video will be aired on every Monday at 6 p.m.
One of our videos is on.
One of the Flint Underground
Videos.
videos. Man, it says Warrior Publications on here. Got this write-up. Got the LLC stuff, all nice. I love that. Does anyone here have a business or aspire to own a business? Sweet. I'll have to talk to you guys. Like sporting, like local businesses and people I know who have services to offer. Yeah, Good Beans. Shout out Good Beans. You know, Totem Books. What else? I don't know, a lot of stuff around here. Like
The Loft?
the Loft. Yeah, I got. Yeah. People who we know who own things. That's always good because like you go to Walmart and buy a bag of chips and it's got like a hole in it or something. You can't hold anyone accountable. I feel like really. Like you talk to one person and they just keep putting you through. They just keep putting it off onto other people, and you can't really ever get to the root of the issue. That's why I like coming here. If Ken serves me a bad cup of coffee or something, I'm gonna just chew them out directly, or compliment you on your amazing service and atmosphere that you have here. But next up, performing, we have Jeremy Westhaven.
Westover.
Westhover. Sorry. Give it up for Jeremy.
First timer, guys.
Hey!
I'm gonna play some other people's songs. All right, this first one I'm gonna do is a Elvis Costello song. This is called "What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding."
Nice. So before you play, can you just like strum your guitar a little bit? Let me just.
What album is that off of? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
Okay. Strumming, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Searching for a light in the darkness.
think the dog wants to sing.
Yeah. This is Athena.
Aw.
She's my favorite fan, I guess you could say. Every time I pick up this guitar, usually she goes in the corner and lays down and gives me this, oh. Not again. All right, this next song I'm going to do is a George Ezra song. This is called Budapest, and it's just one of your good old love songs. My house from Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, my golden grand piano, my beautiful Castile. I leave it all. My many acres of land I've achieved. Is it so hard for you to stop and believe that for you? I leave it all. This last song, a good friend showed to me a couple years ago, and I've been playing it ever since. This is a Joe Crookston song. It's called Fall Down As the Rain, and it's about, not my dog, it's about reincarnation, and how we kind of all are made out of the same thing, and we all continue after death, and it keeps going.
When I reach the
straightened out.
Charter member right here.
Charter member. We're gonna look out for the second edition of Voices Zero. Gonna be fun doing another run of it. I demand. I'll get a copy.
Oh, you're just supposed to have.
Collab Nite is a Creative Alliance event every third Wednesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Open canvas. There's an open canvas.
And there's
Very
painting
festive draw,
supplies there.
very festive symbolism
Terry
in the
can-
bottom left. That's
yes.
great. Flint Underground YouTube, and you could view this every Monday at 6 p.m. on Comcast channel 17. Tell me to turn off camera.
Oh, if you don't want to be recorded,
Oh yeah, if you don't want to be recorded, tell Jay to turn off the camera.
because I
It can be a
will.
lot
I'll.
sometimes.
If I'm recording, I will include it. I'm an idiot. I would do that.
All right, I'm gonna tackle the rest of the announcements after this. Glenn,
Yes.
I knew Glenn vaguely through Totem. You'd bring stuff in to trade a lot. It's really cool seeing the media that you would bring in, and then seeing what your outlet and your creative outlet is. I was wondering, like, you had some deep stuff. I was like, is he a musician? Like, what's going on there? The poetry is solid. It's an interesting Morrissey thing.
Thank you.
I get confused about Morrissey's career, Morrissey's solo
I
career.
think he's
Have you
confused.
Yeah, there's this one videotape where it's really crazy. I saw yeah, it's kind of narcissistic, like sarcastically. Okay, and next up we have a little bit of laughter on the horizon. Mark Taylor, the funny man. Let's give it up for him.
Here I come on the stage. Anyway, how's everybody doing out there?
Yeah.
All right. Woo. There's a gentleman that walks into a public library, and he walks up to the librarian and says, "I'd like to have me a cheeseburger and a fry and a Coke, please." Librarian says, "Man, are you crazy? This is the library." He says, "Oh, I'd like to have me a hamburger and a fry and a Coke, please." Hey, do you know how come you can't take a turkey into church? Because they use foul language?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why cows have hoofs instead of feet? Because they lactose. I was very tolerant on that joke. Did you hear about the sleepwalker that went to jail because he was under arrest? I don't know if I had to put that joke to bed or in jail. Oh yeah, speaking of jail, do you know what prisoners like to use? They use cell phones.
Yeah. They better not. I kind of doubt it. I don't know.
It was Arrested Development. Anyway, I did karaoke one day and my voice cracked, so I had the horse.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had to giddy up on that one. Alright, one more. So, there's this guy that goes around thinking that he's like, goes into a shop and he goes, "Man, I tell you what, I'd like to get me that shirt over there." He says, "What kind of shirt is that?" He said, "A shirt off my back." One more. So, I was talking to one of my cousin that's in the army, and he says, "Hey Mark, do you know what our favorite day in the world is?" And he said, "What's that?" And he said, "March 4th. He said, "Mark, I got hit with mustard gas and pepper spray." I said, "Oh boy, now you're a seasoned veteran."
Oh.
Well, that's my time. Thank you very much.
live streaming? Are
Yes,
you
I
live
was.
streaming? Okay, I
Jenny-
could have held it
Jenny
for
feels
Jordan.
cheated.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Aw.
Man, Mark Taylor, the funny man, blasting us with the comedy today. That was great, man.
Thank you very much.
Great
Thank you.
job on the drums too. That
Hey,
had
yeah,
a nice
yeah, thank
atmosphere to it. What's this Google Hangouts, Jenny?
Oh, sometimes we have meetings on Google Hangouts. I would have given you that. You're not.
Sometimes there's creative
Dude,
alliance
you are
meetings like
not
this. I'm all
supposed
about
to hold those.
transparency. I'm all about transparency here. Join the Creative Alliance online meeting.
The-
2 to 4. on Wednesday.
It's second and fourth Wednesday, but you know
Second
what?
and fourth Wednesday.
But we're not getting a lot of people wanting to go to these meetings, so
Not a lot of people
you
at the
always have to
Creative Alliance
contact me
meetings.
if you want to go to one of them, and I'll make
Contact
sure that
Jenny
we
about
have the
Creative
meeting.
Alliance meeting. Second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. Second Wednesday of the month, I do this thing at the Loft
Yeah.
called Music Time with Friends. Gonna use that as a segue there.
Yeah, it's fun,
I'm
too.
a DJ, like I said.
Yeah.
I do the dance, the record spin, and sometimes people come from Detroit and Lansing to
Yeah.
dance and play records with me up there.
There's always a good crowd there.
Good crowd. They're doing a game night on the same night, so
Uh-huh.
if you don't like to dance to music, you can just play games in the front area. And as far as our next performance goes, we have Ashley Miyoki. Ashley, if you could step to the stage.
Now you know it's actually about a guy I met here and never seen again, so yeah. I just wanna say that I miss you, I wish I could kiss you, but you're so far away from me. You said that I'd see you, but the time moves by so slowly, and you don't know how I want you here, how I need you here, how I want you here so bad. I would hold you close, we'd never be alone. You could get in the car, don't have to go real far. Oh, it's been hell without you here. I'll always hold you dear. We both know how I want you here, how I need you here, how I want you here so bad. Now you know. Which chord is it? This one.
I think your mic was a little bit hot, Ash. Come up here.
This one's called San Francisco.
I'm not sure we have your volume.
Oh.
I think Ken stepped out. Okay. You got it turned up on yours with your volume control?
Yeah.
That.
Before what?
Some more, Ash.
Is that good?
We're having a fire alarm. So see that red light on that fire alarm right there?
Oh, okay.
That says we're having a fire in here. So the fire department's on their way. Sorry, I got it. All right, here we go.
You're so good, Ashley.
That's right.
Cause a fire!
Burning down the house.
Alright. This one's called San Francisco. Would you tell me everything you said to her while still saying the same thing to me? Really hope you know that everything I do, I Last one I'm gonna do is a Taylor Swift cover. This is called All Too Well off her Red album. Just kidding, I found the pic.
Ooh, good job, Ashley. Thank you very much. It's a funny noise it makes when it's adjusted. Are any of you guys in love? Anyone in here in love? Sweet.
There you go.
That's great. Yeah, she said she met someone in here who she hasn't seen since. I had a similar encounter in here. Yeah, a lady was in here who I'd never seen before. Just before she left me this lovely letter and didn't say anything to me. Or I think she just included her first name. It was just like raw positivity, and it like really made my day, made my week kind of. Even showed my partner, and she was happy. She wasn't like mad or jealous or anything. She's like, "This is great."
Mystery woman.
Yeah, it was great. This is a good vibe here. You know, like I said, winter's upon us. I'm really feeling it. I'm feeling like getting cozy and holding up and having an excuse not to go outside, which is what the cold is good for. Yeah, so thanks for coming out. I'm glad I came out. Thanks for having me to host. We still got a nice little chunk of the night ahead of us.
Well, it's, is that clock right?
It is not set back, so.
Oh, it's 9
We
o'clock.
have the golden hour left.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's 9 o'clock,
Heck
okay,
yeah.
cool.
Golden hour. It rhymes with golden shower. Sorry. Dang it. Alright,
Golden
Ryan.
hour shower.
I'm not gonna try the last name because after last time I'm scarred. Thanks, man. But Brian is up next. Brian is our next performer.
Ryan!
Test.
All right.
I thought it was 10 o'clock. I was like, oh man.
I think I'm gonna follow Ashley's lead, see what we do with the fifth fret. So I practiced up a few songs today, earlier. And so I'm a little late for Veterans Day, okay? But this is all gonna tie up. I'm gonna go in a lot of little tangents, but get through as much of this as I quickly can. So the convention of a songwriter, well, first of all, I grew up listening to rock and roll music. And the convention of rock and roll songwriters, basically, they're alpha males who write songs from alpha male perspectives. And somewhere around the time I was 11 years old, there was this movie that came out that was based on a famous piece of rock source, we'll say rock and roll source in '75. I'm 11 years old, and I have to really, really twist my family's arm for me to go see this movie because I basically never really saw anything rated PG or above. And I went and I saw the movie, and I was a bit disappointed, and actually quite disappointed by the movie. And it kind of set in motion something in my head where my thought, basically I walked away from that movie thinking that most of my rock idols were basically full of shit. And full of themselves. Well, before I go, what's our host's name?
Oh, Tommy?
Okay, I don't have to mention the name of the movie. I won't mention the movie.
Oh,
Okay.
Tommy the Rock Opera? Tommy the Rock Opera.
Okay.
So, moving forward into the 70s, yeah, I didn't really jump on board with, like Gene Simmons and David Lee Roth. These are people they were just, the movie, I just had a different view of what rock stars were from that point on. Anyway, fast forward to 1992. And I'm passively listening to a country station. And they're playing a song. I couldn't tell you the title of it, but it's the gist of the song is it's about patriotism, specifically about someone who's a soldier. And I got to thinking about this, and I got to thinking, why hasn't anyone ever written a song about a female soldier, Why is it always a male soldier, And of course that was a challenge I threw out to myself. Well, okay, you write the song, so I wrote the song. But again, back to the convention of rock and roll and alpha males. This song is sung from the point of view of a male who's addressing someone and is having a relationship with. And she happens to be the stronger part of that relationship, which is not common in rock and roll songs. Anyway, I'm rambling, and the song, so he's singing a song about, he's at a point in his relationship where he needs to kind of, they need to move on, you know. Cut bait or fish, I think is what they, so, he's looking for, or he's seeking out. The title of this song is Revolutionary, okay? Well, I brought you here for a reason. It wasn't just to join me in a walk around us. I feel the change of the season, and I think it's time you and I have a talk. See, it ain't working out for me, and I'm not sure it's worth trying to fix, but I'm willing to try another strategy. I need to try something new for a switch. And I've seen you walking through minefields. I've seen you dodging missiles from above. I've seen you crawling under barbed wire. I've seen you beat the odds and conquer love. Would you help me through? The bravest person that I know is you. Well, my heart is held captive in the jungle. Armed guards and camouflage protected there. But lately all my defenses struggle. And I wonder, is it really worth guerrilla warfare? Only one way to turn this tide. Only one way to get this conflict settled. I need a soldier like you by my side, a decorated veteran of past battles. And I've seen you crossing the minefields. I've seen you dodging missiles from above. I've seen you crawling under barbed wire. I've seen you beat the odds and conquer love. Would you help me through? The bravest person that I know is you. Think about declaring war. We're moving too fast and change is so scary. So the reason that I brought you here for is, would you be my revolutionary? Would you help me through? Cannot win this without you. And I've seen you crossing minefields. I've seen you dodging missiles from above. I've seen you crawling under barbed wire. I've seen you beat the odds and conquer love. Would you help me through? The bravest person that I know is you. All right. Okay. So this is the second event I've been to in this room this month. I was here earlier in the month when Amber Hassan and Crystal Turner did a format up here, and it actually included an open mic. Now, I was the only white person in the audience, and I was a little, I didn't bring my guitar or anything, so I was like, I didn't participate in the open mic, but I sat through and I enjoyed the entire program, and it was pretty good. But I also threw my mind thinking, well, if I had brought the guitar, what would I perform? So these last two songs are probably what I would have likely have considered performing. And this is a...
Was it called like Loudmouth?
Yeah, something like that.
She calls herself.
Loudmouth Ghetto.
That's what she calls herself, yeah.
So this is a seduction song.
Ooh.
Yeah.
One of those, is it?
Yeah, written when I was about 27, 28. And, oh, there's the camera, okay? Written when I was 27, 28.
Yeah, look at the camera one, okay?
And 27, 28, and actually, yes, a virgin. So this is a song written, a seduction song written by a virgin, okay? Keep that in mind in case there's lines in there that make you feel really uncomfortable or like, gosh, really? Just this once, woman, give in to your feelings. The pain will remain unless you take charge of the healing. The moment is way too short to turn your back on any support. And the truth ain't always tender. My woman, surrender. Woman, surrender. Just this once, woman, give in to your impulse. If your heart is true, baby, then your feeling can't be false. In the glowing of the dawn, you'll find someone to lean upon. Not everyone is a pirate or pretender. My woman, surrender. Woman, surrender. Just this once, woman, give in to the fury. Too many people want to decide your life. You have no need for this jury. So turn your back on this court. I'm by your side should you need comfort. It's in your hand. Which verdict will you render? My woman, surrender. My woman, surrender. Just this once, woman, give in to the fury. No, that was the last verse, sorry. So just this once, woman, give in to the flow of the breath that you and I take in. Just one sigh and you will know the intensity and the value of a man who will never fail you. Conquer pain, always letting love endure. surrender. Oh, woman, surrender. So my last song is a cover, and I've performed this song here, oh, wow, 5 years ago. And no, yeah, almost 6 years ago. It's one of my favorite songs to cover. And when I'm out about, you know, I have performed this in a bar, and I'll give it an introduction like something akin to, hey, you ever have that situation where there's like a 65-year-old black woman inside you and she just gotta come out? You want to bring her out, right? Right? Huh? You can relate to that, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Gotta get in the mood to this song, okay? Because I'm gonna move around a lot, okay? Yeah. I feel I've got to use my imagination to think of good reasons to keep on keeping on. I've got to make the best of a bad situation. Ever since that day you were gone, darkness all around me, blocking out the sun. My friends, they try and call me, don't feel like speaking to anyone. Emptiness has found me, and it just won't let me go. I go on living, but what I don't know. Staring down the calendar don't do me any good, 'cause people where I'm standing, it's clearly understood. It's a sad, sad season when a good love ever dies. Not a day goes by I don't realize. That's why I've got to use my imagination to think of good reasons to keep on keeping on. I've got to make the best of a bad situation. Ever since that day you were gone, I really got to use my imagination to think of good reasons to keep on keeping on. I've got to make the best of a bad situation. Ever since that day found out you were gone. Thank you. All right, thank you.
How do you pronounce your last name, just for future reference?
Pobocik.
Pobocik.
And I'll settle for anything close to that too. That's
I know, I could have gotten that, but I was scarred.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, I know somebody is going to
That was great. I
trip.
loved all the context. Like, I feel like I know you a lot more intimately now after that performance. That was great. Yeah, moving right along, we have Julie Graham up next. Here we go.
All right, tell about it, baby.
Hello, hi everybody, I'm Julie Graham. these drums, and they multiplied since last time.
Yeah.
There's 2 now.
Yeah.
It's like this one had a baby or something.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, so, for you guys that don't know me, I mean, I think most of you know me by now enough to know that I'm deaf. I'm a deaf drummer. I was raised hearing. I could understand, appreciate music. I have memories of music. Especially up until about 2008, and then everything new kind of confounds me, so I don't quite understand it. I am word deaf, mostly. I have a hard time understanding words, but I'm still pretty good with tones. So, drums are great. Percussion, a lot of beat, a lot of rhythm, a lot of vibration. So, when you don't have your hearing more, you got vibration to work with. I still having a little trouble deciding what to do with them. But since, how did I come up with these, by the way? Most you know that I decided to make a hand drum and see what I could do, look around the house, and this is made out of pork rind bucket. This new one is caramel corn. Pork rinds and caramel corn. Anyway, you can see this one's not decorated on the outside yet, but it's painted. It's a little bit higher pitch, a little bit lower pitch. So, now, I'm going to attempt to do something. I'm going to try to pick some songs in my head that are pretty popular. I'm going to see if I can come up with a rhythm with them, trying to remember what they sound like in my mind. And I want you guys to try to guess it.
Okay.
Good luck to me.
Okay. You want to sit down for that? Okay.
I have to set this up a little different than I did last time because of the way I hold them. I hope this works. I feel like I'm in my high chair. All right. Now, like I said, this one's a little higher tone. And lower. I'm going to pick my most favorite band to begin with. Hopefully it's recognizable. So, pretty simple. Any guesses?
We Will Rock You.
I was gonna say We Will Rock.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Queen's my favorite band.
Sweet.
By the way.
Yeah.
Oh golly, what else? Fortunately, I go out of rock music. It was loud. I could understand it. Let me try something different, I guess. Pretty much repeats, I think. It's not rock. It's pop. I had to pick this one part I asked. Like a virgin.
Oh.
Nice.
Touch for the very first. All right.
Yep, that's it.
Point. I don't know. Now I'm like, I don't know if I want to take requests or something here. I gotta learn to find a way to
Wipe
put
out.
some music and accompany to it or something. They're supposed to help me find music on my phone. We never did.
Okay, I'll do that. We'll do that.
But anyway, oh gosh, let me think.
Well, the ants go on.
I was thinking all kinds of songs earlier, now I can't.
School's out or school's wipe out.
That was nothing in particular, I just wanted to play. Anyway, I'm gonna have to find stands for these buggers eventually.
Yeah.
Next time I have this, fixed up. Anyone that hasn't seen it yet, he's got a red and black one. So, as soon as I can find buckets and stuff to deal with, I'll have more things to do. Otherwise, I'm a pretty creative person, so mostly visual arts and stuff, so that's why I also came up with this. And side note, so whenever someone's up here doing music, especially if there's a lot of bass or whatnot, guitars, whatever, I also have been known to hold the drums like this. And what this does is all the vibration comes in this, and I can feel the rhythm. So that's just a little extra additive to my experience with it, feeling the vibration and whatnot.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's about it, I guess.
Great. Every month you get a little bit more.
That was great.
Thank you very much, Julie. That was sweet. I love drumming and vibrations.
We need to
Super
start a drum-
therapeutic
a
for
drum,
me, at least.
club.
Yeah, here we are, Creative Alliance
Not at all.
Collab Night at Good Beans, third Wednesday of every month, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Thanks to everyone who's sticking it out. It's been a great one. Our next performance will come from Rick Rupinski.
Hey, so you came back from the last name thing.
Hey, yeah, I'm back on my last name game. Rick Rupinski.
Oh, he's gone. I was going to say, so I also write poetry, so that whole Rupinski Tamagotchi thing, that might be a farce. Although oh, he does. It was a farce then. So this is a poem I wrote a few months ago, and the idea that I started with was, for those of you who know me, I have this great love of puns. So I tried to write, yeah, do you?
Yes.
Ah.
I feel you on a spiritual level.
I do.
Oh my god.
It's not popular too much in America, so I've been told I should move to England, but it's a long drive. But anyways.
Hey, you're talking to a guy that knows puns.
Yeah,
So I'm
This
he's
is
a
funny guy.
funny man.
This is you can't ask for a better crowd, right?
Well,
But anyways, I started out with this idea of what can I do in a poem where I just try to make as many puns as possible, and it really evolved into something unique. But anyways, I'll just let it speak for itself. So this is a poem called, this is the most appropriate title I could come up with, I See What You Did There. Though all are blessed with eyes to see, eyes never lay sight upon the seer. No retina perceives the seedling beneath its iris. Ocular nerves sense augmented pictures of identity, portraits framed by ourselves, us, and others, whose eyes perceived whole, but whose sense perceived not. How is one to know who it is for whom their heart beats? Romantics look for themselves in others and the observation of their heart's beloved ideals, experiences of beauty tangibly vicarious. Intellectuals observe through dissection and kill the living as quickly as it was born, so depth of connection is sufficed by cold scalpels. The romantic and the heart proceed differently and disconnect from the disconnected intellect. Yet each of us is perpetually lost without our other. Scalpels vanquish all resistance, but all attempts to vulnerable depth mistake the sentimental, leaving only the literal. Yet poetry is not figurative solely, as the romantic, wandering between objects, discovers when shadows of the soul reveal the mistaken mates checkered by bad lighting. Vulnerable adjacencies quates beget depths of valleys, forsaking foresight to be bound to pits. Seers see nothing in fables, yet tell tales of vivid startles, recounting cinematic sights that the pupil finds to be hind. Thus doubts one with rod, since Jesse was no prophet. Therefore, why make testaments to the old before the new? Patience. For the seer is not yet spoken, to teach what eyes obstruct. Truth, with mighty capital, is thought deferred beyond any measure, depreciated for bearing a used cross, with inheritance unquestioned, what flows from this river already stepped in. Understanding, which can only be understood if known, and only known through appreciation. The selfless, know thyself. Understanding is so difficult to understand, best reflected when succumb to illumined flow. Elucidations for the patient, the heart and the mind have more to say than either can bear to hear. They can only write each other and print in their discursive style, garnering attention to distract from stillness. So to stillness go. Also sprach nicht the Zeitgeist, for truth is timeless due to incorporeal incorporation in the real. Another name for the subtle, since it is for all and for none. Thus the isolated primes find reunion, despite the parallats isolating them, for two hemispheres united horizon. And though so much may never touch, what be so near, the union is true.
All right, man, that was good.
Wow, yeah, that was deep, man. That makes sense, knowing your interest in philosophy as well as your love of puns. And yeah, that was really cool, dude. There's a lot there. So here, we're coming up on our last performance here. Did I miss any announcements? And I think I covered all my bases. Good Beans is great and best cafe ever. Jenny's great. Creative Alliance is great. It is third Wednesday of every month, 7 p.m. to 10.
Creative Alliance meets every first Wednesday at Churchill's at 7 o'clock.
Creative Alliance meets every first Wednesday at Churchill's.
Yeah, we're trying to put together a fashion show now, too.
Okay.
And fashion show.
Potentially a fashion show.
Part of the thing I want to encourage is artists that want to turn their artwork into wearable, so we can call it wearable art.
Wearable art?
Yeah,
fashion
the fashion show.
Yeah.
So if you participate in this fashion
sexy.
show, can you wear floral print pants?
These are someone's art.
I've got some that I made that he could wear if he wanted. Yeah, that's because that's one of the things that I have. The Skyflower pants.
Yeah, I like fashion.
Yeah.
I like to be sexy. I was thinking
So
that
when,
today.
Have to
when
figure
is that
out.
going to be happening?
Oh, it's going to be happening in May, but we don't have a definite. I mean, it's something that's in the works. I mean, if anybody's interested in participating, they should let me know. Because Creative Alliance, we need more people. That's why I mentioned it. But yeah, just stop being like that, okay? But we're hoping for May, and I think it's going to be at GFAC because I did talk to Greg about that. And he said we could use that facility, but we're not sure exactly what day yet. But we're shooting for. I'd like to do it the Saturday before Mother's Day in May is when I'd really like to do it, but we haven't got that day settled yet.
So stay posted.
So, yeah, but if you're interested in being in a fashion show, get a hold of me.
And stay posted for Voices Zero second edition.
We'll have some of those for sale there.
Popular demand. Yeah, so for our last and final performance, we have Sam Reynolds. Let's
Who's tall enough for this?
Weird. That's a weird angle.
That whole thing, that shouldn't have been a thing. Okay. So, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I'm so ill prepared. I'm going to read a couple of things and possibly sing a song depending on how it totals out. I don't know. This is an excerpt from a book I'll never write. I clung to him like my life depended on it, because in that moment it did. I felt every emotion always stood there, and I knew that without my arms around his neck I would crumble. My eyes burned and my breath grew uneven. I felt my heart hit my chest, hit my hoodie, hit him, and I only hoped he could feel it too. I tried to catch the small sob that squeezed past my lips, but I was too slow. We pulled away, and I knew the streetlights illuminated the tears running down my face, but I didn't care. I was losing my friend. For a small moment, we stood in silence. I'd hoped and prayed that he'd say something to make this better, something to reassure me that it wasn't the end. I waited for words that would never come. As I walked past... Sorry, I'm trash. As I walked back to my house, our late-night memories flooded my vision, brimmed in my eyes, got caught in my eyelashes, and fell to the ground. I had hoped he felt an ounce of what I was experiencing. I had hoped it wasn't really over, but hoping was getting me nowhere as I watched him drive off into the night. For a second, a part of me wished a horrid ending to his drive home. I wanted a gory story to splatter the 6 a.m. news, and I wanted him to be the main character. My blood boiled and my fists clenched, but as I reached for the door and caught my reflection in the glass, I remembered that those thoughts weren't me. I pulled out my phone before stepping inside the house and told him to text me when he was home. No matter what I felt at that moment, I knew in all actuality I wanted him to have a long and happy life, even if from now on I wouldn't be in it. I wanted him to laugh and love and have all the things I thought I had had with him, minus the heartbreak, of course. This is called Take Me to Church. And yes, it is related to the Hellfire song, but like it's not, because it's not as good. Because I mean, it's amazing. The House of God became a house of horrors, with a new terror premiering each week. I always had too many questions for the church and always received too little answers. No, it was not enough to believe in something I couldn't see, hear, smell, taste, or feel. I went through my childhood asking why a higher power would torture innocent people, cursing their lives with misery and struggle, and was told that they got only what God thinks they can handle. I asked what happens after we die and what proof they had to back up their claims. I asked why I was told something else in science, but there I was given straight answers and shown more proof than just being handed a book. And still I was told to wait and pray. But I was impatient. Why am I like this? Oh no, I'm sorry. But I was impatient, and praying felt like I was talking to a brick wall, so sermons became nap time in uncomfortable clothes. I was whisked away to sit on some old man's lap while he bounced his knee up and down and made the space between my legs ache. Old people smelled gross and kissed me, even though they weren't family. Church was a weekly pastime before it was something to live by. The first girl I fell in love with left me for the altar, saying I was unholy and tempted by the devil, but all I wanted to do was compare her to the stars. In her, I'd seen heaven, I'd felt a higher power in her hands. I would have screamed hallelujah at the top of my lungs if she'd asked me to. I still appreciate the beauty of religion. Believing in something is more reassuring, I'm sure. But with her went my religion, and I don't think I'll ever get it back. Now I'm going to sing, but there are people, so I don't remember any lyrics, because people. This is I See Fire by Ed Sheeran. Fun story, I almost kissed a guy to this song, because we went to the movies, and it was in The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, that one, the first one, and it was right after the movie ended, and I was leaning in for that kiss, and then I heard that it was Ed Sheeran. I was like, what? Huh? My baby. And he was like, what? You've never met this man. He's old enough to be your brother. What are you doing? And That's probably why we didn't go on a second date.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Oh, misty eye of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's souls, and should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over enduring suns. If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. And if we should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. Oh, should my people fall, then surely I'll do the same. Confined in mountain halls, we got too close to the flame, calling out, Father, oh, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. And if the night is burning, I will cover my eyes. For if the dark returns, then my brothers will die. And as the sky is falling down, it crashed into this lonely town. And with that shadow upon the ground, I hear my people screaming out. I see fire inside the mountains. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze. I see fire. Oh, you know I saw a city burning, and I see fire. Feel the heat upon my skin, and I see fire, and I see fire burn on the mountainside.
Yeah!
Wow, what a great way to end the evening.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone so much.
Thanks for
Tonight was
hosting.
really great.
You did a great job.
Yeah, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the week and see you here next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.